What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at RussoLifts. Just in case something happens to this YouTube channel, you can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. So moving forward with this channel, I'm really trying to polish up my own content, so I'm just going to jump right into it on the Enhanced to the Max. Enhanced to movie review, my unbiased thoughts. Now, just a little disclaimer here, I'm friends with everyone, and I think GI, Generation Iron, did a good job. However, I'm just going to say it how I see it from an unbiased perspective. I really am going to be reading through the comments. I want everyone to post their own reviews of what they thought of the film, as well as, just some constructive criticism on what they thought could have been better, or what they thought they really nailed with this film. And I'm not going to spoil everything in this documentary. I really highly suggest you purchase the film and, support the definitely very, very loud documentary that is Enhanced 2. A lot of noise in this film. My ass was injected on one of the top documentary films on the iTunes store right now. So go check it out on iTunes. I'll have the links down below. But... oh, and also, this film has the most injections out of any film. So, yeah, they wanted to have that record with the first one, and then they set the record a little bit higher in the second one. So, I'm going to be giving my unbiased thoughts and just overall what I thought of the film. So, Enhanced 1, in my opinion, looking at it from an unbiased perspective, was a bit all over the place. I know Tony is this eccentric character that has all these different variables of craziness that, they wanted to highlight to really make him like, wow, this dude has definitely got a lot of different viewpoints willing to be publicly shared. But in my opinion, it really lacked narrative direction, what EA in general was about. I feel like this film was a lot more on the money as far as the type of content to expect from, GI and Enhanced coming together and producing something which is about the transformations. So, right off the bat, I do think that the film lacked overall polish. I think the narrative was much stronger. It just wasn't as polished, and that's just my personal opinion. And overall, I think the production quality could be raised if they do want to continue and make a third film. Just a little bit of a comparison. So I was featured in ESPN's Power episode of their Enhanced documentary series, where GI took a completely unbiased viewpoint. Obviously, being from the bodybuilding industry, they wanted to show both the good and the bad, which I think, besides Bigger, Stronger, Faster, which in my opinion was slightly pro steroids, PEDs, I feel like Enhanced 2 is directly in the middle, which is very hard to do. And then the ESPN one was way anti-PED over here, in my opinion. But point is, the production quality with Jigsaw, which was the subcontracted production company for ESPN that I worked with, they shot on Ares 2 cameras, which are, if you're not into cameras, those are like $25,000 cameras, where, overall Enhanced 2 was mostly, I think, shot on the camera you're looking at me through, which is the A7S II, which is definitely up there. But when it comes to asking people to pay for a film, in my opinion, it should be shot on professional grade equipment. This is a professional creator grade equipment, but I really would like to see the bar raised, because even though I don't like the way I'm featured in that ESPN film and how they completely cut my words and made me look as bad as possible, when it really was a heated argument that they just looked like they killed me in and just picked out the little parts they wanted to use to make me out as the character as I was in that film. It was shot exceptionally well, and it was very polished, very clean cut as far as all the shots go. So if there is a third film, which I hope there is, I hope you guys do support this film, because I don't know who else is going to make something as brash and loud as, EA and GI coming together. I really hope they do step up the production company and really sit down and grind a perfect narrative. So moving forward, a couple thoughts. Now, I'm just going to not spoil everything. I'm just going to give my input on a couple things. I watched this documentary twice. Very long documentary, full of a lot of good information, as well as a lot of things that make you think as the general viewer. So, first thing I wanted to highlight was they go over, Tony's switch to gear. Now, why Tony's so into gear, why he's into steroids, why he's into Sarms. They left out one key thing I know about Tony that I think should have really been fucking harped on. And that's Tony was the stereotypical lifetime natty, I'm better than you, I do everything perfectly natty. Tony, until I forget when he started steroids, around 26, 27, Tony was that guy benching 365 in the gym, completely natty, completely OCD about every damn thing to maintain, the perfect natural physique. And he was capped, his genetics were capped for a long time. Feel like they should have harped on that, that's just my opinion. Now, they also have Dr. Thomas O'Connor, which is the anabolic doc on YouTube. I'm a big fan of his channel. I've been following his channel ever since it was so small. I was always waiting for someone, Western medicine endocrinologist, to really step up and to make some PED content, with a PhD, with endocrinology, really bring in a professional grade opinion to where it holds weight because of his, medical degree, and to give someone the spotlight that deserves the spotlight as far as educating people on PEDs from an endocrinologist perspective. Now, there's no research or medical backing on anything involving bodybuilding cycles. It's very much anecdotal, and everyone's body responds differently. And if you watch the anabolic docs content, you'll know that people respond wildly different. All his patients respond wildly different too. So they had him on as the guy to bash Tony, call him not credible, and all this stuff, which is fine. I think he has every right to do so and to call him out. There's two certain things I wanted to highlight. Number one is the Sarms. So the anabolic doc, I'm going to bring up this video, has a video talking about how Sarms are the future. I'm going to play it now.
The future of testosterone. This is going to be so relevant for you and so important for doctors to understand where we are today and where we are headed, because there are tens of millions of men on testosterone in this world, and there will be tens and hundreds of millions of men coming onto testosterone. There's no question about it. The scientific data has proven that testosterone is effective for ameliorating men that have low testosterone with their symptoms. Of course, there are side effects. Sarms, of course, we have Sarms. So in the end of the day, I see Sarms up there in the podium with testosterone injections. Testosterone injections not going away. We're going to work around it, work around the risks with microinjections. Sarms are going to come up, but they're not there today. The future is going to be Sarms, selective androgen receptor modulator, keeping the good, keeping the sexual feel in the brain, keeping the confidence, keeping libido for men. At the same time, keeping the stimulatory aspects on musculoskeletal and the bones, but bypassing no hair loss, no acne, no gynecomastia, no heart worsening conditions, no prostate worsening of the conditions. This is going to be really tricky, and it will happen. I think you'll see a SARM in the next 5 years marketed, maybe 10, and it will work, of course, but it won't be that strong. And it will have side effects, you see? And that's why during this whole period, the master or the chief, the main winner is going to be the injections, working around, again, the dangerous side of the injections. There was a 12-week study of a SARM called Sarm, GTX-024, and it improved muscle, physical function, and improved insulin resistance. So there's the study that they showed for an example.
Right, so it's hard for me to watch that documentary and know that he made that video talking about how SARMs are the cutting edge. SARMs are where, muscle wasting diseases such as aging is a muscle wasting disease, anti-aging, where, the science is going, and it's towards SARMs. And he made that video. He made it. I didn't make it. You can go watch it on YouTube. It was kind of hard for me to get into him on character in that film, knowing he made that. And then the other thing he stated was, how Tony's just motivated by, financial gains as far as everything he does, which doesn't make sense to me because Tony was a bankruptcy lawyer that owned a law firm and had 1,000 other revenue streams, and it was obvious that, it was more to make a statement with EA on his thoughts in general about everything discussed in the film. So I think for the average viewer watching the film, it's going to be very jarring at first to watch it, Again, there's a lot of real rawness as far as the injections go. You know, everything involved in high-level enhanced bodybuilding that still goes on all the time. Bodybuilding is completely built off of basically everything shown in that documentary, and it's a lot less scientific for most people and a lot less calculated. But whether you like PEDs or not, that's what goes on behind the curtain. And, you know, this doc is just like, haha, here, you want to see? You want transparency? Here's as raw as it gets, is kind of what, you know, EA2 Enhanced 2 is about. So I think it will be, you know, the viewer's determination of analyzing the undertone of the documentary, the underlying message. You know, GI really did a good job, in my opinion, of really keeping it unbiased as far as, you know, showing, hey, this could happen if you go down this road. You know, with one of the contestants, you know, it was very, you know, what happened to him, you know, as well as giving the underlying tone of, you know, why everything is being presented here, how it's presenting, and giving Tony the ability, you know, to talk about certain issues about compounds not making it pushed all the way through because there's not as much as a monetary gain versus some other compound that maybe doesn't completely fix the issue, band-aids the issue, thus reoccurring revenue versus completely healing the issue. You know, those types of arguments I think were presented very well. You know, I did want to wait to make this video to see the overall analysis of, you know, the general bodybuilding culture in general, what they thought about it. Seems to be very down the middle. There's a lot of people who are like, this is gonna ruin bodybuilding, you know, bodybuilding, I want bodybuilding to be on ESPN, you know, and all those people who like don't want the truth to be revealed. You know, there's that crowd, and then there's obviously the people who, you know, have the IQ, completely get what the documentary is about. It's not the promotion of PEDs, in my opinion. It's just being completely transparent about what goes on in bodybuilding and the underlying tone of how medicine works these days in some angles. I'm not going to say all angles, you know, definitely it's a case-by-case thing, but I think it's great overall. It makes people think, and overall I think transparency, truth is what people should be pushing up in the clout world. People should stop in the clout world pushing up these fake characters and pushing up all these snakes because of their content. They should really try and find someone who's unbiased to push up. I think the addition of Mark and Chris Bell, who made Bigger, Stronger, Faster, definitely strengthens the documentary a lot. Really awesome and cool that they decided to step in and, you know, back the documentary. I really feel like that did help because Bigger, Stronger, Faster was so well received by the public. It definitely wasn't as crazy as Enhanced 2 as far as, you know, documenting the transformations and everything. But yeah, overall, as far as the transformations go, you know, I agree with Coach Trevor's statements. I really, you know, kind of appreciate the kind words they gave me. Personally, I don't think I trained hard enough. Again, you know, with my home life at that time, then I flew from Pittsburgh to Sacramento, fasted, had the time adjust change. You know, I really came out there to make a transformation. I was not about to bullshit that. I understood what they were doing and what needed to be done and the role I played, and I honestly believe in the role of EA on revealing the truth and making people think outside the box and weigh the risk for the reward for themselves versus not think about anything at all. So, you know, I really did try. I really appreciate them saying I had the best transformation. Personally, I think I could have did a lot better if I like went out like a couple days earlier, readjusted to the time zone, and was overall just in a better mental state. But, you know, I appreciate that a lot. I can say that I don't think Kenny trained hard enough. I don't think he'll argue with me on that. I think he could have trained a lot harder. I think his diet was up there. My diet was up there. But as far as gym time goes, Tony and Kenny definitely could have trained harder. I could have personally trained harder. I was training pretty fucking hard as I could But if it was more under, it's when these documentaries happen, when I even do my vlogs, it's like, am I going to vlog this workout for the content, or am I actually going to work out, Like, a lot of people say I don't train hard. It's because I'm training on camera. Like, I got to set the camera up, and I got, like, when I go in the gym, I have my hood up, I have my headphones on, and I don't take breaks for the hour 45. I'm in there. I'm in the zone. When I bring the camera in, now it's about making content. That's how this whole week was about making the content. We were on the Mark Bell's podcast, or Tony was on the Mark Bell podcast. I was on the Chris Bell podcast. It was much more about creating the noise, whereas I think it should have been Nazi-like, which they tried to make happen, but with scheduling and everything that we had to do that week, it was hard to get all the content in 1 week. It's very difficult. But I think if we were to repeat it again, there could be even more successful results. Overall, I highly recommend you guys watch the film. Definitely liked it a lot better than the first one. It's a bit long, and like I said, it's lacking a bit of polish, but overall, if you watch it and then analyze the undertone of the film, you'll know that it was spot on with the unbiased perspective. And I'm going to leave this on the final note that Dr. Tony Huge is a fucking porn star name. It's his porn star name. That's Dr. Tony Huge's porn star name. Yeah, it's a porn star adult actor name. So, yeah. That's overall my thoughts. Comment yours down below. Definitely the loudest PED documentary ever made. By far. The loudest, most transparent PED documentary ever. The amount of injections in it is insane. The amount of this is what goes on is just insane. And then making you think about the undertone of how things, are brought to the mainstream. Makes you think. Hope everyone's well. I'll see you in my next video.